everyone, this is Kristen Lee with Jalopnik, and I am here with Mark Vanels, the Executive Director of Product Development at McLaren. We're here with the new McLaren 720S.
Let's start with the engines. And for us, the engine is the heart of the supercar. So we've got a new 4-litre engine, significant component change, so new cylinder heads, new turbochargers, charge cooler, intake, lower intake manifold, exhaust manifold, all new, precision engineered to deliver this huge increase in performance. So we've increased the stroke by just under 4 millimeters to give us that extra capacity.
So is this then, it sounds like it's not 100% a brand new engine, it's taken the 3.8 liter and...
We did the maths, it's about 51% new components.
Okay, so it's still made on the same assembly line and everything?
Yeah.
Is it still being produced by Ricardo?
That's right, yeah. So Ricardo, our engine partner, we worked heavily with them on the design of the engine.
With 4 liters, it's now 720 PS. How much torque does it make?
So it's 770 Newton meters or 568 pounds-feet. I'm learning to do it in both.
And that will propel the car from 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds.
2.8, yeah. 120 in 7.6, or 200 kilometers an hour in 7.8.
And top speed of 212 miles an hour. Is that limited, or is that just,
I think the car will go slightly faster.
So are they new turbochargers on this?
Yeah, a lot of work. Obviously with a turbocharged engine, a big focus on minimizing turbo lag. So a lot of the architectural changes to the engine, one of the reasons why we lowered the intake manifold is to reduce the gas inertia, to minimize the amount of gas that you've got to either accelerate or decelerate as you're opening or closing the throttle. The turbochargers themselves are really pushing the envelope of performance, so 150,000 RPM a minute. Incredibly fast, so small turbochargers with very low inertia, which means they can accelerate and decelerate very, very quickly. And a lot of the control strategy around we control those turbochargers is to keep them spinning up high so that the throttle response is there instantaneously for the driver.
And what is the red line on this engine?
8,500 RPM. So although it's turbocharged, we've still got a lovely rev range. We worked really, really hard the tuning of the sound of the car, with the intake in the exhaust system. We call it the crescendo, it's almost musical.
Okay.
So the sound from the engine increases with the revs. So it really, really encourages you to use the full rev range. So you don't run out of sound at sort of 5,000 or 6,000, so it then gets quieter, which is the case with lots of engines. So we're trying to maximize the volume with the revs and that rev limit.
For theater, and
absolutely,
of course. Is that piped into the cabin?
Yeah, we do have. So we have what we call intake sound generators. So we're plumbing this genuine mechanical noise from the engine into the cabin, and we throttle that. So with the different modes, you can drive in comfort mode, very quiet, but in sport and track, we let more of that sound into the cabin.
So there are free suspension modes, correct?
We have normal sport and track. In the handling modes as well, we have various ESP settings.
Okay.
So we have what we're calling dynamic ESP in sport mode, which frees up the rear of the car particularly a little bit more. So if you're on a track or you want to drive on the road a little bit more spiritedly, without the really tight level of control that the ESP system gives you, it gives you a little bit more freedom. And then when you go into track dynamic, there's more freedom again, which really allows the driver to exploit the performance of the car. And then we've got this really cool feature, variable drift control, which you can dial up, literally dial up the oversteer limit for the car. So if a driver really wants to learn how to exploit the performance of the car but doesn't want to risk too much or doesn't feel confident, we can give that driver a progressive level of control.
So we're going to talk a little bit about aerodynamics. Could you just walk me through how the air is being directed to maximize the downforce in this car? Because I see this is all open here.
Yeah, this is completely unique. What we wanted to do is maximize the airflow through this. This is the low temperature radiator, which cools the circuit for the charge coolers. This is the air going into the engine. What we didn't want to do is increase the size of these, which just adds mass. So the way to improve the efficiency is to get more air fundamentally flowing through. So what we've done here with this beautiful eye socket design is to open up and maximize the open area. So even the headlights are aerodynamic surfaces which help with that.
Right.
And then as you move down the car, this is all about maximizing the cool air, the efficient air that's going past the car and separating it from the hot air as it warms up.
And these vents, where do these vents lead?
So these vents are, there's a little trick here that we take air in here and we bleed out air through vents here. And that's just about to reduce the turbulence of the airflow coming off the bonnet, which means that the airflow over the A-pillar, this very efficient airflow, is not disturbed in any way. This high velocity air flows through this completely unique door design here, as I said, 2 twin skins going into the high temperature radiator. So it's a really efficient way to maximize the airflow through the radiator. And down at the side of the car here, we've got a front diffuser, and because we've got airflow going through that low temperature radiator, there's a lot of hot air that can be uncontrolled coming off the wheel, and that destroys downforce because it can go under the car, but also generates drag by coming off the side. So what we're doing here with this vent is to evacuate that wheel wake. But what you don't want to do, because this is hot air, let's let it spill into the cold air here, which is going into the radiator. So this design keeps the airflow separated. So you've got hot air here and cool air going into the radiator there.
Unfortunately, we are running short on time. It is a preview event. They're about to kick us out. So if you could give me the elevator pitch for this car in 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow, okay. So carbon fiber upper structure. Very, very slender pillars, gives this fantastic visibility to the driver. Luggage volume behind, unprecedented in a mid-engine supercar. So the cabin really feels like a jet fighter. 360-degree visibility, something quite unique. Aerodynamic efficiency extends to the rear of the car. So huge open areas to evacuate the air, and we've got this fantastic air brake which extends over the surface of the car. 4 modes of operation depending on the speed and the brake pressure. Interior of the car, huge step forward in terms of feature content and the quality of the materials that we use. So we've developed this real driver-focused cockpit design with, I think, perfect ergonomics. So not much to change with the primary controls, but the secondary controls now all fall beautifully to hand. The idea being that it doesn't need to distract the driver, so you can just place your hands down, you don't need to look at the controls if you want to change the handling mode or you want to select reverse or change direction. So this driving display can operate in 2 modes.
Oh my gosh.
So that gives you all of the information that you need.
It's so cool.
Detailed information, which also changes with mode. But if you want to just focus on the road, you can fold it up. It gives you the bare minimum legal information, and you can get a completely uncluttered view of the road in front. Really cool feature.
I'm completely enamored. I wish we had hours more to talk about this, but unfortunately we do not. But I just want to thank you so much for coming out and chatting with us about your baby.
I'm glad you like it. Thank you.